Welcome back to Open Hand Farm. I hope that whatever holiday your family celebrates this time of year, that you had a really good one. I know we had a fun time here and are looking forward to a new year. My name is Penny, and if you are new here, I am so happy to have you. Today, I'm going to make sourdough crackers using einkorn flour. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with einkorn flour, but it is what is considered an ancient grain, and it offers many essential dietary and trace minerals. The term ancient grains is used to describe a category of grains that are supposed to have been minimally changed by selective breeding. So unlike the wheats that we use that have been changed for many years to produce this perfect grain that everybody wants or does really well, this grain supposedly has not been altered. It's supposed to be a really good source of protein and iron and dietary fiber, thiamine, and a number of other B vitamins. And it also contains a significant amount of the powerful antioxidant lutein, and with higher antioxidant levels than durum and regular bread wheat. So that's what I'm going to use today. I have made these crackers several times and I really, really like them. They remind me of the round Ritz crackers with the kind of buttery flakes, only they're a little bit more dense than that. So one day I didn't have einkorn flour on hand, so I decided to just use my regular flour. And that didn't work. I mean, it did okay. And we have eaten what I made, but it was definitely different. So I researched to see why it would be different. And apparently, einkorn flour contains the lowest gluten in all the flours. So I used a regular wheat flour, and that meant that the sourdough got really happy because it was eating up all that gluten and loving it. So I came up with these much thicker, I didn't even bother cutting them out. I mean, I could tell that the dough was completely different. It was really big and hard to roll out because it was so full. I don't even know, it was voluminous. It was so odd. So I just rolled them out and cut them into squares. But they don't snap necessarily. They're more like a graham cracker, like a real thick graham cracker, but we've eaten them, and my husband really liked them with some habanero jelly that our pastor gave him because it kind of helped absorb some of the heat as he was eating it. But today we're using einkorn because I want you to see what they really turn out like. Okay, we're gonna start with all of our dry ingredients. So that is going to be 1.5 cups of the einkorn flour. This is how you spell it, E-I-N-K-O-R-N, and I get this from Azure Standard. So we need 1.5 cups. I'm getting low. Then we need 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Don't you guys hate it when your baking soda clumps? I just kind of press it out in my hand. Okay. And then 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. So those are our dry ingredients. Very simple. And now we're going to add our butter. It's 3 tablespoons of butter, and I just cut it up into little pieces so that it blends in better. I'm going to use my cutter. I really like using this when I do pie crust and biscuits. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it now. Of course, you can use your hands, you can use 2 knives, a fork, however you do this at home, go for it. I'm just doing what I do and enjoy the most. So you wanna work all that butter in so it's kind of like, it feels like there's little pieces of peas or something in there. So you can still feel the butter, but it's not huge. Then we're going to add our sourdough. So this particular recipe tells me that I need to take 2 tablespoons of sourdough starter and mix it with 1/2 cup water and 1 cup of einkorn flour. But I didn't do that because I don't always have the forethought that I'm gonna make crackers. I just decided today I'm gonna make crackers. So I'm using my sourdough starter. So I just start adding and mixing and seeing what I think. So this is about a cup, and that's not near enough because this is the only liquid that is going in there to combine all of this. So you want enough to make a dough. Of course, that does mean that my starter is not made with einkorn. It's made with regular flour, but it's okay, it works well. Okay, it looks like it's gonna take about 2 cups of starter to make this dough. It's starting to come together, and you don't want a wet dough. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my 2 cups here. That's looking good. It's kind of a stiff dough. And then you're gonna let this dough sit for 1 hour, and that's going to make it kind of puff up and become more usable. It's not gonna be as stiff anymore because it's going to ferment with that sourdough in there. This is just a nice, soft, pretty smooth dough. As you can see, it mixes nicely. It's not real stiff. And that's what you want. And I'm just gonna kind of work it a tiny little bit here to make sure it's all mixed in well. And I'm going to cover it up and let it sit for an hour. And then we'll roll it out and make crackers. Okay, it has been sitting for an hour, and now we're gonna roll them out and make some crackers. Okay, I'm going to divide the dough into at least 2 parts. Oh, that is so light. It's just so, look how nice and light it is. So I'm just gonna divide it in half, and I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on my board, and I'm using the einkorn flour. I'm gonna kind of sift it on because I felt like it was a little bit lumpy, and I don't want that. So all right, now we're going to roll this out. Try to get it in a nice shape here before I start. I'm going to be using my rolling pin. The recipe says to roll it out to 1/8 of an inch. I don't know about you, but I play the guessing game all the time when I'm rolling something out. I don't really measure it. I just roll and see what happens. So what I did this time around is I bought some rolling pin bands, and they just go on the end of your rolling pin like a rubber band, and they have different widths to them. So this one is the 1/8 inch band. This set that I have ranges from 1/16 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. So what happens is when I roll this on the counter, everything under it pushes out until these bands are resting on the countertop and the dough is all flat underneath it. That means my dough is rolled out to 1/8 of an inch. We're going to roll this out to 1/8 of an inch. Then we're going to brush the top with melted butter. And then we're going to fold the dough into thirds and then in half and roll it out again. Then we're going to brush it with butter again, fold it again, and roll it out. Then we will cut them and put them on the pan. So let's do this. It doesn't really matter what shape this is because I'm going to be cutting them out. I have a set of biscuit cutters that I got that are wonderful, and there's 3 different sizes. One of them, the one that I will be using, is 1 3/4. See how as long as my dough is moving and stretching, that means I'm not at 1/8 of an inch yet. So if you can see the dough moving, you know you're not there. So we'll roll this until the dough does not stretch more. And then we'll know that it all is at 1/8 of an inch. This one I'm going to run out of room. All right, I don't see any more stretching. So that means that I am at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. You guys, I don't even know what's wrong with me today. I'm making a mess on myself. Why don't I have an apron on? Okay, now I have an apron on and I can get busy. This is the 1 3/4 inch, and the largest one is 3 1/4 inch. So I'm taking the melted butter, and it says not to skimp on this. This is what's going to give it those buttery layers. All right, there's butter. Now we're going to fold it in thirds, and then we were supposed to fold it this way, but I'm just going to do it this way so that we can get a better rectangle shape of rolling. Okay, now again, let me move that out of my way. When this stops stretching, we know we have rolled it out to 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And we're rolling it up with all of that butter inside it. Okay, I think we're there. That end came out just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to butter again. And again, it says not to skimp on this. So we're laminating it with the butter so that it will be layers and flaky, and of course have that nice buttery taste. Okay, there's thirds, and then in half. Let's get this some flour on here, and here we go. All right, that's good. This time we're going to cut. So we're just gonna go through and cut our crackers. Okay, now we're just gonna put the crackers on a pan. Get these off of here. Expose our crackers. All right. I'm gonna use the spreading knife to just kind of pick them up and get them on here. They're kind of soft, but you can handle them without them losing their shape. I've got my oven turned on to 400 degrees. Now, once they're on the pan, you're going to poke holes in them, and it suggests 2 rows. So you can either go next to each other or make a cross. I like the next to each other. Oops. Sorry, my hand's in your way. I'm putting some flour on my fork to try to get it to not stick. And if you are OCD like me, don't be. You don't have to worry. They don't have to match exactly. That's part of the rustic charm of making homemade crackers. All right, now brush them with butter. My butter is kind of getting harder, but I actually think it's easier. Last time it was really wet and it was like rolling all over the pan. So I do like the fact that it is a little bit solid. Okay, then you add some salt. I don't want a lot of salt, so I'm just lightly salting them. All right, now we're gonna put them in the oven at 400 degrees for 9 to 11 minutes or until the edges are light and golden. I'm going to use the rest of this dough that's already been laminated with the butter. I'm not going to re-laminate it. I'm just gonna roll it out and use it. And I forgot the last time I made them, I decided it would be easier to butter this and then cut them out and add them to the pan instead of buttering them individually. And I'm using kosher, so it's a little bit bigger than just a table salt. Okay, let's wait to see how that other pan looks, and I'll go ahead and keep rolling out and cutting crackers. So here they are coming out of the oven. They've got a little golden brown color to them. You can cook yours crispier if you like. I like mine a little, I won't say soft, but I don't want it to just crunch. I left some a little bit thicker just so that I could break it open and show you the layers inside. It's just a real nice layered buttery goodness. Here's some that are pretty crunchy. Here is a townhouse cracker just to show you how it is kind of layered buttery on the inside to kind of compare with these. And then here's one of these, and that did crack nicely. And it's got that nice layered light crunchiness to it also. I know I said I was going to put my cream cheese on it, but I haven't gotten that yet. So I'm going to use some of my blueberry balsamic basil jam mixed with cream cheese. So good. These are really good crackers, you guys. You got to give them a try. Thanks so much for joining me today as I made these crackers. I hope that you give them a try. Let me know what you thought about them. If you have a different sourdough recipe that does not use einkorn flour that you really like, let me know in the comments so that I can give them a try. Or if you have a great einkorn recipe, let me know that too. You probably noticed some videos that I put up today that were videos you've probably seen before. If you didn't see my comment in my community page, I ended up losing about 30 of my videos on YouTube, and so I'm having to reload them. So I'm just going to continue reloading about 3 a week until I get them all loaded again, which means I have to write new descriptions and come up with new thumbnails. So they might look a little bit different, but feel free to watch them again or share them if they were ones that you really enjoyed. Or if you're new here, enjoy watching some that you maybe haven't seen yet. Until next time, blessings on you and yours.